I want everybody who tunes into anything that I do to understand the first primary reason why I do what it is that I do is content, not manipulation. And I'm going to be a die-hard enemy of this manipulation meta until it collapses. Let's get some music going. Ah, darn it. It's like having your head in a darn C-clamp. Right. If your channel's not growing, it's dying. This is one of the worst ideas, or should I say, if your blank isn't growing, it's dying. This is one of the worst ideas that I've ever seen in online media and elsewhere. My first experience with this idea is with the religious version of it, with the church growth movement. I've been to various churches over the years, met various pastors, been in various congregations. Some churches are more religious than others, some are more community-focused than others. But one thing you could always spot is whether or not the growth movement had taken the place over. The idea of a local church with a congregation, a pastor, aka a shepherd, and basically a minister who conducts the services and is approachable, and you can ask for like advice or how to interpret a passage of scripture or something like that. This is something that is pretty basic to joining a local church. When the church growth movement gets there, though, they start mixing religion and business, however little sense that makes, and it becomes about if your church isn't growing, it's dying. Similar to this discussion nowadays about if your channel isn't growing, it's dying. And that's where instead of having a pastor who's actually approachable, you have a pastor, so to speak, who's more like a CEO, unapproachable. You have to go through the proper channels to have anything resembling ministry. Because there's a pastor for this, a pastor for that, a group leader for this, a group leader for that. They complicate the living daylights out of something that should be basic, like going to church. So it's sad, but it's what happens when the corporate America worms, so to speak, get into stuff that corporate America may not jive well with. The results are kind of blah, even if they do give you a big building with a lot of stuff going on and small group leaders for everything under the sun. But at the core of all of this is this terrible idea that if whatever you're doing isn't growing, it's automatically dying, because it anathematizes this idea that it's perfectly fine to be a small streamer or a small creator or have a small, good community. You gotta know who's driven by what. Are they driven by this desire to do something that other people like and enjoy? Or are they driven by numbers? Why are they making content? And we're back, of course, to the online media side of this. Why are they making content? Is it to make good content, to learn how to make videos or stream or something like that? Or is it just to manipulate people into growing an audience? And if all you do is manipulate people, what kind of audience do you think you're going to get? It's just ridiculous. These talking heads out there are telling Twitch streamers, these talking heads out there are telling Twitch streamers to start YouTube channels they don't care about. As if people on YouTube can't see when you don't care about what you do on YouTube. That is false. I'll tell you, you put yourself in the shoes of somebody who wants to sit back, relax, and watch a stream or a couple of videos. How many of these people want to be manipulated? I'm guessing 0. They get manipulated by maybe their boss at work. They have to guard their mind, so to speak, against manipulation by manipulative people, manipulative relatives. How about advertising? And in the midst of everybody trying to pull you in every different direction, Wouldn't it be nice if you could go somewhere where you don't get manipulated? Wouldn't that be awesome? I think it would. And to some people, over the years, YouTube has been that place. Family-friendly, ad-friendly videos. No nonsense, no fluff, just stuff. You tune into a video, and you instantly see what it is you're looking for. And even if there are ads, they are distinct. There is no fluffy, repetitive intros or in-video advertising or calls to action. Today's YouTube, of course, has veered from that, and there's people that are making this problem worse. There are people out there that are encouraging the wholesale cluttering of the system because Twitch won't help streamers grow. Twitch is ridiculously elitist. The line, or should I say the gulf between the haves and the have-nots on Twitch is massive. And then when you see Twitch promoting its partners, what you see is a brute force advertisement, nothing technological. The technology isn't pulling its weight in helping creators grow. So the other way to grow creators like partners is to just brute force advertise, do it the people route. Have ad campaigns for these partners and whatnot that get less concurrence than affiliates. Have the little pop-ups on Twitter with highlights that are the reason why that language exists, that, well, we can use your stuff to advertise Twitch services, because you see various streamers getting featured on some Twitter post. That's Twitch putting in the legwork on the people side of things to do what their technology isn't doing well enough of. But at the very same time that people are being encouraged to make YouTube channels they don't care about, and they're being fed this terrible idea, and they're basically being taught to hate their own stuff with this whole idea of if you're not growing, you're dying. While all this is going on, there are still channels on YouTube that are making good stuff that people like. You don't see any of the fluff. You don't see any of the calls to action. You may see mid-roll ads, perhaps, but you know what you're watching. And you know that the person who made the video isn't trying to mess with you. That's what I think is missing nowadays. YouTube videos just get to... And that's one of the reasons why... Yeah, that's too loud. And that's one of the things that I think is missing nowadays. And this is one of the reasons why I will send this show over to YouTube without doing any editing. Do things in segments. Send the show over like that. So you watch something, bam, right into the discussion. No fluff, just stuff. It's kind of an act of rebellion against what YouTube has turned into. But these people that are playing these games, that are listening to these talking heads, that are going over, and at the core of all of this is this idea that there is something fundamentally wrong with having a good audience instead of a big audience. That if you don't have the biggest audience in the world, something must be wrong with you. Now, I see, Harris Heller did a video recently talking about ways to go to 1,000 Twitch whatever. And he's like, always be open to the fact that you're the problem. That's partially true. The truth of the matter is that these platforms have enough technology that if it's not working properly, some algorithm is going to shut you down. It's not always going to be about your relationship with other people. There are situations where the system will shut you down. Something will glitch, you'll run afoul of some system somewhere, and you will not be shown. You're not going to show up in people's feeds. People aren't going to get the notifications. YouTube has had plenty of this going on for quite some time. So it's not always your fault that you're not growing. But why does it matter that you're always growing anyways? That's the issue. Now, there are self-styled experts out there that are going to try and come up with some justification for this, but let's say you make a video. 50 people like it. You get 50 views. Ooh, 50 views. You make a video, 50 people like it. Those 50 people know they can tune into what it is that you're doing and watch your videos, and it's cool and all. Why must there always be more? Oh, but there's attrition. People come and go. Yeah, both. Make good stuff. And as people leave, more people, maybe we'll find out and watch your stuff. But what you're not going to do is mess with people in order to get to where it is that you are or want to go. Because what do you think happens when people find out that you're manipulating them? I have some screenshots that I've taken of some YouTubers' channels. YouTubers who I will not subscribe to, and the only way I've told the algorithms don't show me their content ever again, the only way I see any of what they do is by manually dialing it in and watching it myself. And that's only when I feel like it. Their stuff doesn't get recommended to me, and I really don't care if it never does. I've been taking some screenshots of people playing manipulation games, making old videos look like new videos, changing titles after the fact besides a basic revision, changing thumbnails. And what it does is it says to you, their audience, that you don't matter. You're never good enough. There must always be new people showing up and watching. And what does that do once you figure out that this is going on? It makes you less interested. So, I talk about the manipulation meta because it's like a virus on all of this online media stuff. You have people that stop caring about good content and they just want to manipulate their way into big numbers. Yeah, well, I got news for you. Those people that you could manipulate into having big numbers are people. They're human beings. You can put yourself in their shoes anytime you want and understand what it is that's going on if you manipulate them. And at the core of all of this disgusting idea that if your channel's not growing, it's dying. Why can't you be happy? Why can't you be happy just making videos that 50 people like? That's the thing. The endless pursuit of more and more and more causes you to not appreciate what you already have. It's like when you work your way up to making $50,000 a year, but you're upset that you're not making $65,000 a year. Or say you get a fast car, but there's another car that's a little bit faster, and now you're upset about the fast car you have because there's another one that's a little bit faster. It's a never-ending hamster wheel of more that makes you less and less appreciative of what you already have. And this is the ugly truth and the ugly rude awakening, maybe, that awaits these people that are playing these games on YouTube. And these Twitch streamers who I know they exist, because I've seen some of the YouTube channels that they don't care about, just cluttering things up with stream VODs or whatever. They don't want to take YouTube seriously as a platform. They just want it to be a means to an end, and it shows. And people aren't stupid. They don't fall for that crap. And so they'll be repulsed from a certain creator or whatnot. And then that creator will be like, why isn't this working? Because fundamentally, what you want to do is rotten. You want to manipulate people instead of make good stuff. Who's going to appreciate that? Only suckers who don't know any better. Is that the kind of audience you want? So, this is the reason why when I see Twitch streamers make a good faith effort to get started on YouTube without just dumping highlights or something, showing they're actually curious about making videos instead of just, I want my Twitch stream to grow and Twitch isn't growing me, so I'm just going to do this until I do. As if people aren't going to catch on to that. When I see people actually giving YouTube a fair shot, I'm going to recognize them and say nice things about them, because there's certainly plenty of people out there who are trying to mess with you. And some of them may actually be trying to mess with you because someone else told them to. Yeah, mess with those people, manipulate them with titles and thumbnails into watching so your channel can grow and you can bring it back to Twitch. That is disgusting. It is no way to treat other human beings. And most importantly, it is no way at all to make good content that people actually want to watch. Because if people decide on their own to support what it is that you do, you don't have to worry about this manipulation stuff. They're going to tell their friends about it. But don't tell that to any of the people that'll tell you, oh yeah, you're not really a YouTuber if you're not making wild neon thumbnails, even though YouTube is destroying this technologically with the mouse over previews. It's very easy nowadays when a channel gets big enough, and the big channels are getting this first. It's very easy to mouse over someone's videos and see that their neon thumbnail is not representative of what actually goes on in the video. That's just someone sitting there talking in a room that's nowhere near as neon as the thumbnail. So, and as more people wake up to this crap, they're probably going to agree with me on this. You only have limited free time to watch anything. Why should you spend it on somebody who has outed themselves as somebody who is just messing with you to get more views in any way, shape, or form? I don't need to watch the people engaging in this manipulation meta. Because there's people who just make good stuff who are far more worth my time. So this will get redundant the more I talk about it. The bottom line is, if you in any way, shape, or form believe that something is fundamentally wrong with you if you're not growing on YouTube or Twitch, you're not appreciating what you already have. And you're basically limiting yourself. Or you're setting yourself up to fail. Because let's say you've made some decent stuff. People are watching you because you've made decent stuff. Now you turn around and you decide to start doing gimmicks and tricks and other crap because you're not happy with what you have. What happens to that good audience you've built up? This is the stuff that the people making these how-to YouTube videos about how to grow your channel aren't talking about. And I think more people need to understand that this is a thing, and it's going to keep being a thing. Because nothing replaces basic human decency. And with that in mind, instead of playing gimmicky games or something like that to try and grow an audience on either of these platforms, I'm going to get back to work on making some decent stuff that's interesting and worth watching. The real way to amount to something on these platforms. Social medias, youtube.com/multimediajay, twitter.com/multimediajay, twitch.tv/multimediajay, and multimediajay.wordpress.com. This radio style show is but the least of what I want to do in the next couple of weeks. So let's get to some stuff that's going to make things even better on my various presences on these platforms. Till next time, this is MultimediaJay signing off. Thanks for stopping by.
257. MultimediaJay Radio Style.